Good evening, morning and afternoon, everyone. Stefan here from the Digital Commando Show. This is episode 30. So excited. I can't believe we got to 30 so quick. Feels like we started doing this a couple of weeks ago, as I'm sure it did for you guys, unless you're kind of going, oh my God, he's on again. But episode 30, really, really excited. It's Motivational Monday, the second Motivational Monday that we're doing today. So I'm super excited. We're across the pond today for those in the UK, and we've got Brian Davis on. So absolutely fantastic guy. I'm going to bring him in so he can introduce himself in a minute. But for those that missed the morning show, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to talk about morning routines and how to get your head in the game and get your mindset right for that day ahead. Then we will talk about, once you've got your head in the game and you're going for it, then how do you maintain that motivation? How do you keep yourself energized to complete those goals? Then we'll go on to some daily habits for success. Obviously, I've recently read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Absolutely love it. So we're going to talk about some habits. And then finally, we're going to finish off with some top tips for productivity. So if you're working at home at the minute and you want to be a little bit more productive, we might have a couple of tips for you. So stay till the end. Right, let's bring in Brian. Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great, Stefan. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with y'all and your community.
Honestly, thank you so much for joining me. I have to apologize in advance now, guys. It's a live show. Things happen. I was trying to organize lots of this yesterday, and you might have seen that Brian was kind of supposed to be on this morning's show, but I thought he was in the UK for some reason. Completely mind-boggled me. And to make it even more funny, I've done it again. So for those who are expecting Steve's not until Wednesday, but he is in the picture. So we'll get that fixed and you'll see Steve on Wednesday. So there you go. It's a live show. These things happen. But Brian, thank you so much for joining me. It's great to have you on. We're going to talk about motivation today. So for guys, anybody who's watching the show right now or joined us later on and watching on the replay, all we ask is if you know anybody that could benefit from anything we talk about today, then please do drop them in the comments or share the whole video of them. Let's pay it forward and make sure as many people can get as much out of these shows as possible. That's all we ask to keep doing. So, Brian, for those that don't know you, can you give us a little bit of an insight into a bit about you, what you do, and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I'm from New Orleans, married about 10 years, have 2 kids that God's blessed us with, 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son, and they love going hiking together, love outdoor activity. We did almost a 2-mile hike yesterday with our kids, and they love it. They're like fearless champs out there in hiking. So that's one of the things we teach them, is be adventurous and do it careful, but be adventurous, and have fun. So one of the things we do, though, is actually help teach people how to create impact, influence, and income. We believe everybody has not just a story, but has something to either expertise to share with somebody else. And either they share it and create impact and influence with it and create income, or you take that to the grave. And that's a choice.
Awesome. Cheers, Brian. I really like that. I love how it's clear, 3 very clear points of what we're going to get there. Impact, influence, and I just said it. I've written it down. And income, obviously. That's what we do. That's absolutely fantastic. I really like that. So let's dive into our first talking point of the day. Now, morning motivation is something that I love talking about on this show. The most driven and successful entrepreneurs that I've met across my life have always had a really, really good morning routine to get their head in the game and really get them going in the morning. So what is it that you currently do, Brian, or that you've seen other entrepreneurs do that you think is really, really great for people to do in the morning to get their head in the game?
I believe the morning time kind of sets our stage for the whole day. And it's up to us how we wake up in the morning, our attitude sets the day. So it's up to us how we wake up, and it's like a stage. If you think about our day as a stage, in a way. And that's one thing I say a lot when I'm talking about social media or just life. But if we think about our day as a stage, then it's like we're the director of that stage, and it's a great way to look at it. So I don't know, my wife read that 5-second rule book not too long ago. And we'd set our alarm and we're like, look, it goes off, we get up, we don't feel like working out, we're going to work out anyway. We started getting up early. I think that's the biggest difference. so many times people wait to get motivated to do something instead of doing something, and then the motivation kicks in. It's like, I'm not going to start this business, or I'm not going to start this new health routine, or I'm not going to do something that I said I was going to do until I feel motivated. Do it anyway, because you're never going to feel motivated ever. Currently I work out like almost every single day. If I get up between 5 and 6 in the morning, I just, I do a short hit workout. I got a gym in my garage. So I just do it. Like, doesn't mean I feel like doing it, but I do it anyway. Like, I want the results of doing it. And I think that's the key, is that if we see the end game and going like, hey, you know what? The motivation is the result itself, not just the work. And if we actually lose sight of the work itself, we can be a lot more motivated in the work. If we're like, look, I see the result from actually, working out for 30 minutes, even if I don't like it in the moment, it's okay. It's like people were waiting for this thing to kick in, and like, I have to like working out all the time, but no, like the result. If you like the result, you'll like doing the work a lot more, So like, for instance, like my morning routine, normally I'll drink like a glass of water, or I have like an apple cider vinegar cocktail, what I call it. When I wake up in the morning, get some good digestion, going on. Because the apple cider vinegar has some good, thermogenesis and all that in it. So it's really good health-wise, get your body going. So I really don't normally eat till like 12 or 1 anyway, so I don't have any food in me. So I'm like double burning fat because I'm intermittent fasting, if that makes sense. But it's the mindset, normally in the morning, I believe it's a great mindset that you wake up grateful for life. I love the Bible verse that says Jesus came to give me life, and life more abundantly. And it's up to me to be grateful for life, to be grateful to God for life itself. And I think there's so much in life in general we just take for granted. And we're like, I'm not going to be happy, I'm not going to be grateful until this thing happens. I'm not going to be grateful until I get a promotion. I'm not going to be grateful until I lose 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. Then I'll be grateful. But if we don't start being grateful today, then when the blessings come, we're not going to be grateful then either. And that's one of the things I've learned about life, about motivation, like mindset. Start being grateful for what you have now. And that'll transform. Like, we have an 8-year-old daughter. We just recently bought her a journal, and she will write in it things she's grateful for. She'll write about, I'm grateful for God's love. I'm grateful for playing with my friends. I'm grateful for, it's just everyday stuff. It's not like you have to be great. We're mind-blowing things, if that makes sense, Like, we're like, oh, I'm waiting for this mind-blowing thing to happen before I write down what I'm grateful for. But if I write down the things that I have now, that I'm blessed with right now, and we just pause and we're like, man, I'm just grateful to be alive. And just like own that for a second. Like, I'm grateful that God loves me. I'm grateful that I'm still, I have a chance to create opportunities. I'm grateful that regardless of COVID-19, I can learn new skills. I can learn marketing skills. I can connect with entrepreneurs. We're connecting right now, but it's up to me to actually be responsible with the time I'm given on earth. And I think that's the biggest difference. That's where motivation starts. It's going like, you know what? I'm responsible for the time I have on the earth. No one else. I can't, my parents aren't responsible for what me taking care of myself, building my own business, being healthy, none of that. I think that's a huge wake-up call for mindset.
Absolutely. I think you brought so many incredible points there. And I loved the way you started off, you said about the results from doing the work. Now, it's absolutely true. Nobody kind of wakes up and just goes, do you know what? I'm super motivated. Let's go. Like, that doesn't really happen very often. Even the top entrepreneurs in the world don't wake up and go, boom, I'm motivated. I'm going to do it. there needs to be a process of how they get themselves into that mindset. And I think when we talked about kind of, you said about their like the belief and the result kind of driven side, and I totally 100% agree with that. And I think it is that belief in the beginning that determines the outcome of the result. And if you have got uncertainty going into that kind of, right, this is what I'm going to do. Fitness is an amazing example. So when you kind of go, do you know what? Working out's actually quite hard. Like anybody that's ever worked out ever will know, it's not easy. But if you kind of go, do you know what? I want to get fitter, and you do it one day, and then you go, oh, I don't really feel much fitter. Well, yeah, because you've already trained your brain to go, yeah, I'm not really good at this, or I'm not going to succeed at this. When you've got a genuine belief and you go in with it and you put loads of action and you get a result and you've got incredible results, it re-emphasizes the belief. And you go, do you know what? I told yourself I was a stud. I knew I could do it. Absolutely killing it. So I absolutely love that. And that's so true. We're so behind in the UK with the vinegar thing. Like I love the vinegar thing. And I've seen it. It's a big trend. I know you can buy like vinegar drinks in America, can't you?
Yeah.
You don't see that.
Flavor too, if you want them.
Oh no, we don't get them much over here. Like I don't think I've ever seen one. There's probably a couple of places that do them. But I think they should bring them in more, because I can drink vinegar anyway. For anybody, we love fish and chips in the UK, and they used to come in a little plastic cone, and they put vinegar on it. It would fill it with vinegar at the bottom. I used to drink it. It was lovely at the end. So, little treat. I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's someone else on this watching that also did that. And the fasting side as well. I think that's so good for your energy levels throughout the day. And then you said about like the gratitude side. And again, we preach gratitude on this show every Thursday. We talk about it quite heavily. And you're so right. We've already won, guys. You like anybody watching this? We've already won the genetic lottery just to be here. Like the chances of actually being born are minuscule. So we're already should be quite grateful to be on the planet and having the opportunities that we've got, regardless of what they are. And I think the book that you bought your daughter, the journal, that's such a good idea. That's such a good idea. And I've got some friends, a client actually, who built an app called Happitude, and you can kind of go on that, and it's like a family app. So you can kind of add friends, family into it, and have your own kind of little bubbles. And that really pushes you to give gratitude every day. So it asks you, right, okay, what are you grateful for today? And if the good thing is you can also share this. So you can keep it private if that's what you want to do. People can do that as well. Or you can say, I'm grateful to so-and-so for this. And you can actually send the gratitude directly to that person through the app. So someone's waking up in the morning and going, oh, do you know what? That's really nice. Someone's just really thankful for my friendship, or they're thankful for something I've done this week. And that kind of stuff really, it's so powerful for the individual, for both sides as well. So yeah, incredible for stuff you brought up there. We're going to talk about, obviously, we talk about our drive and ambition. We've kind of got up in the morning. We're really, really driven. We're ready to go. Now, what people are finding is once they're ready to go, they're starting to then lose momentum. We can all get up in the morning, do our morning routine, go into work, smashed it for a couple of hours. I've done the same thing again the next day and the next day. But then by Thursday, I'm like, oh, do you know what? I'm just not feeling it. What's going on? Have you got any advice for anybody that just needs that? They need to get that extra boost. How do you maintain your motivation and your, what's the word I used? Ambition. I think I like ambition as a word. But yeah, that drive and ambition throughout the week, the month, the quarter, the year. What's your advice on that, Brian?
Yeah, I did a video. I posted on Facebook a while back called "The Richest Place in the World." You know, and if I was standing in a graveyard, and you might think, man, how's that a motivational video?
I'm waiting.
You know, but in reality, you know, there's things that are inside of all of our lives. You know, whether it's books to be written, whether it's businesses to be started that can impact people, you know, whether it's new relationships, whatever it is, like there's things inside of us. And I believe maybe 5% of humans actually live their divine potential. Like 5%, regardless of like all the stuff we see on social media, you know, and it's like, oh man, this guy over here is doing this or this guy's doing that. Yeah, that's still a very small number, you know, overall. And the reality is, one of the things that's helping me out in my life journey is actually just dialing into my own personal purpose. Like, what is your purpose? Like, I can't define that for anybody else. I can't define your purpose, and I think that's the biggest, is saying, like, for instance, like we just did a challenge on Facebook with health and fitness. And one of the things I was telling them, as far as a trick, like when you go in a snack or something during the day, and I said, look, you know what? One thing that can really help with snacking or with eating things that we shouldn't is ask yourself this question: what should I be creating with my time instead of what should I be filling myself with? And it's like, should I be creating a book? Should I be creating a podcast show like this? Should I be creating new connections? Should I be creating content? Like, should I be creating, what should I be doing with my time that's limited? And I think because so many of us don't realize our time is just limited. We're like, oh, tomorrow's going to come. Next week's going to come, and we just put off everything till tomorrow. And then we're like, man, I wish I would have done this. And like, we had a guy who had a mild heart attack, who was actually in our group, our fitness group. He's 42 years old, okay, local pastor. And after that, like he said, that was his 100% wake up call for life. And he said, look, after that one day, he said, that was it. He said, before I kept wishing things were different. He was like, I wish I ate better. I wish I worked out. He said, but once I changed from wish to desire is when everything changed for my life. He's like, look, I have a good belief system, as far as God, and I have a good belief system about things I believe in my heart. But he said, I would wish things were right about certain areas of my life, but I never moved the needle from wish to desire. And he said, once I did that, it changed forever. And like now he fasts like 19 hours a day, for instance. He'll eat breakfast and not eat dinner. But regardless of his schedule, it was at those two words. He moved from wish to desire. And once we get out of that stage of, I wish my life would be different, instead of, I desire it to be different, and now I'm going to take action on that desire. Because I know I'm the only one responsible for me fulfilling my purpose. And that is motivation right there.
I love that. I think it's one of those things, we said at the beginning about kind of potential. I think everybody's got fantastic potential. Not everybody will use it. And I said on here before on the shows that my biggest fear by far is unfulfilled potential. It actually makes me feel a little bit sick if I kind of get up and at the end of the day, I kind of go, I've achieved nothing. Like, I feel genuinely quite ill about it. And I hate to see other people not fulfilling their potential as well, which is why we talk about stuff on Pay It Forward that we do as a company to try and get people to help them fulfill their potential. And it's not something that should take us, something that you say about the pastor, 42 years old, heart attack, that's crazy. But it shouldn't take something like that for us to happen before we make a change. Now we've got people that smokers that will wait and then get lung cancer and they go, now I'll give up. Well, you should have done that ages ago. We all know it's not bad. Hypocrite as well, because I smoke. But I'm giving up on the 21st of May and we're going to do a show around it. It is gone. But it's these kind of things. Don't wait for something really bad to happen in your life before you start making the positive out of it. And yeah, I've never heard that the wish and the desire. No, I love that, what you just said. I really, really, really resonate with that, because I feel like if people are wishing for something to happen, it's like, I really wish this would happen. I really wish you're waiting for it to happen. It's kind of, well, you can sit around and wait. I wish I was a millionaire. We'll go buy a lottery ticket, because unless you're going to do anything about it, it's never going to happen. It's one of those things, isn't it? I think, yeah, that desire and the action and obviously then getting the results. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy once we've done it, which is, you genuinely believe, you desire, you believe, you have an unrelentless belief that whatever you're going to do is definitely 100% going to happen. You put in loads and loads of action, you get fantastic results, and then you go, yeah, I was right. And you do it again naturally, because your body then is entrained to go, do you know what? I believed something, I did it, I got the result. It also works the other way. If you don't believe, you don't get the result, always the same. So yeah, be optimistic. and do that. Yeah, I really love that. That's absolutely wicked. All right, we're going to go on to talking about daily habits. Now, I said I recently read Stephen Covey's of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, this is not, I say I've recently read it. I've recently read it again because I absolutely love this book. And I think some of the habits in there are just absolutely essential for us to grow. What habits have you got, Brian, that you use in your life that you feel that benefits you into successful habits that help you grow?
Yeah, one of the things I was actually I have a small green notebook. I was going to bring it up for the show.
Oh yeah.
I actually have a notebook, and one of the things I do, I try to do it almost every day, but I'll write down a day's date, and I'll put like either things I'm grateful for that day, or I'll put down things I feel like God's speaking to me, or a scripture or something. But it's like, it's something I just, it's a small notebook, it's not anything. But the point is that habit creates routine. We say so much like, oh, I want to start a new lifestyle, and like it's going to magically happen or something like this magic pill we can take. And, but like we're saying about gratitude, once you start that habit of sitting down, like, I sit down, like usually after I work out almost every morning, I'll sit down, I'll read the Bible. I'll sit down and just make it a practice, but it's up to me. And usually I'll read like some kind of either personal development or some kind of book that goes with that after that, and sometimes it's 5 to 10 pages, depending on the day, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. If that makes sense, but it's about, we have a choice what to feed on. I think that's the key. Like, I had a friend one time tell me, he's like, man, my Facebook news feed is so full of negativity. I'm like, who controls your news feed? I'm like, who controls what you allow to influence you? Does everybody else or you? I just kind of put that out there to the guy, I'm like that, that's on you. But, so having those habits turns them into routine, and like for me, using a reminder app on the phone, a reminder app for being on the show today, or, I had a consultation before this show, and, it's like, so having those small things can make a big difference. I think so many times we don't schedule things we actually say we want to do, and then we're like, man, I don't know why they didn't get done. I don't know why that didn't happen, but we don't schedule it. It's like, I'm going to write a book. It's like, is it on the schedule? Well, no, but I know it's going to happen. I know it. Like, and you're like, so is it going to happen Tuesday at 2:00? Like you're just going to sit down and, well, I can't really tell you when, but I just know, and until we can say Tuesday from 2 to 5, I'm setting off this time to just do nothing but write. And that's it. Like no distractions, one of the great things about using an iPhone or any kind of phone is that actually can limit your time on social media. Social media is an amazing tool. I met my wife through Facebook. Facebook is an amazing tool if it's used it right. But so many times people can get caught up in the scroll instead of actually like just sitting down, turning it off, putting it down and going like, I'm going to create something, instead of jumping into the space and like, I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes. I think that's the biggest thing. Like somebody asked me a while back on the organic traffic secrets training I did. And they were like, oh, how much time do you spend on Facebook? I said, I think it's really good to spend like 10 to 15 minutes sometimes, but be purposeful about it. And then like, you can even limit your time. So your phone could say, look, you're done, dude.
Yeah. I think that's key. It's so good. I'm going to kind of flip back to the beginning. You said about habits and kind of setting it up for the routine, and that resonates really well because I think lots of people kind of do that. And I think this is most obvious in January. We see this so often in January. So people set New Year's resolutions. They go, I'm going to get fit, and they buy a gym subscription that never gets used, or maybe once or twice. And they'll go, right, okay, I'm going to do this. And it's one of those things, I wish I was fit. And they go, right, okay, I'm going to start a new habit. I'm going to start a new routine, rather than absorbing something new into your lifestyle, which is, do you know what? I go to the gym now. And having that affirmation as well makes a big difference of saying, do you know what? I go to the gym every day. Now, when people ask me in just over a week, do you smoke? I will say, I don't smoke. I won't say, I don't smoke anymore, or I used to smoke, or anything. I don't smoke. That's it.
That's it. That's the key, man. Words are powerful.
Absolutely. And you do these affirmations. I will be adding that to my affirmation every morning. I'll be reminding myself and saying, I am not a smoker, and that sort of stuff. And that stuff is so powerful. And I think this is it. When we're going into things like trying to set up habits and trying to set routines, we've got a question that we'll talk about in a second from Sarah Gibson. But it's all those things that go into it, not go into when people do diets. I hate diets. Like diets do my head in, because you go, all right, I'm going to go and do this diet. Oh, how long's the diet? A month. Well, what happens after the month? You go back to eating crap again and go and get fat? That's not how it works. We need to introduce things into our entire life that make a positive impact. I wasn't the only one. I wrote this down, and then Maria Ellard also commented and said the same thing about progress. It's being perfect. Yeah, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. That's a fantastic quote. Absolutely brilliant. I would have that. Like, I bet people would have that tattooed on them. That's such a good quote.
It's good.
It's really good. So I think it is about that. It's about progress, not perfection. And if we're moving forward, we're not standing still or waiting for something to be perfect. We talk about this with things like the podcast itself or the show. It's one of those things. I used to put things off. Before I did this show, I put so much off. And it was so ironic because none of the stuff that I was putting it off for actually works anyway. So we laugh about it on the show, and many people watching always know that my microphones and all that sort of stuff don't even work. It's just a show. Like, we've got lights everywhere. My lighting's rubbish at the minute because we're in the wrong room. But like, I use this all as an excuse. I was procrastinating because I was putting out every day. What am I going to have in the show? I need to have the people ready for the show a month before, and I need to do all this. And it was just all excuses not to get it done. I need to go and buy expensive microphones and cameras and all this stuff. It was a load of rubbish. I needed absolutely nothing to go and get this up and running. So it is about moving forward, one step at a time, little steps, and it's still moving forward rather than going, I need to be perfect before I do it. I'm a big believer in that. Yeah, negative feed. I love that about the guys that your friend has got a negative feed on his Facebook. And there's so many people that are like that. Oh, my Facebook's so negative. Well, yeah, do a bit of a cull. Just cut people out. I do it regularly. Well, that person's a bit boring and negative and don't like that. Let's just not see their stuff anymore. You can filter this kind of stuff, or just don't spend so much time looking at the feed. Social media is exactly what it is. It's supposed to be social. And I'm sure Brian will agree as an expert in organic social media, which is engage with people. Use it as an opportunity to engage. We're on social media now. We're streaming to all you guys, and we're having a conversation. We're getting to know each other while we're doing this. And we're obviously getting to know you guys as well. And everyone who's commenting, there's a level of engagement there where we're getting to know you and you're getting to know us. It's not just a case of I'm flicking through stuff and absorbing. Anybody that's been on TikTok lately will know that you can easily lose 4 hours of your life on TikTok. Just going, I'll just have a look at a couple of videos, and you're there. It's so addictive. I don't know how they do it, but after 4 hours, you're still going because you can't stop. It's just video after video after video. But for lots of people, especially that want to grow or do something on TikTok, you could actually just create a video, and that would take you 10 minutes instead of spending 4 hours looking at other people's videos, trying to get some inspiration for your own. Just take 10 minutes and do it and create some content and share that. So yeah, that's basically my feedback from what Brian said. Absolutely brilliant. So we did have a question coming from Sarah. I'm going to throw it up onto the screen. Any top tips for creating good habits? Now, this is a really interesting question. So I'm going to pass it to you first, Brian, and then I'm going to kind of flip it around and see if I can mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I guess, really just define what your life purpose is, individual. What do you want to accomplish? Not just for the day, not just for the, I think so many times we think like habits, like, oh, I want to make this much money, so I'm going to do these habits to get there. And instead of just practically, like on a practical chunk, what can I do for 15 minutes at a time and just chunk up my time, And I think that's the way to do it. I think that the biggest tip I have for creating good habits is you're the one in control of it. I was doing a training the other night, and I told some people the definition of my word responsibility. I said responsibility to me means it's our response to the ability that God's given us. So it's really like I can say, man, I'm waiting. Like if I want good habits, I have to know I'm in control of saying, hey, look, I'm gonna take this, and when I wake up, I'm gonna put it down. I'm not gonna let social media control me. I'm not gonna let the news control me, or the latest government, whatever they're gonna say, whatever's coming out. Either you're gonna be reactionary or you're gonna be proactive. I think that's the biggest thing. And if you choose to be proactive, just start take 5 things, or even I told an entrepreneur recently, and this can be really good for habits. But I told him to take 25 ideas he wanted to do, let's say for business, take 25 and then take the top 5 that you really want to do and cross out the rest of the 20 and just focus on the 5. Same thing. I think it's the same thing for habits. So take 25 things. You're like, man, I really want to do these 25, and then focus on the top 5. Those top 5, put all your energy in those 5. And then from there, you just created a new habit. And then and you just drill down deep on those new habits, and you'll create a new lifestyle, because that's the goal of have a new habit, right? A lifestyle, not just like I got a new habit.
I think that's it. And it is about longevity of what we're trying to achieve, isn't it? And there's one thing that I was at an event at the beginning of the year, a guy called Brad Burson, who's did the episode 1 of anybody who listens to the podcast. And it was so key about when we look at that and our habits, and we're kind of go straight off to goals, I guess, in that sense. And it all comes down to what to really drive us and really what makes us happy. And when I say that, I mean that from like a genuine level. I don't mean that buying a new car is going to make me happy. It's not. Buying a house isn't necessarily going to make me happy unless there's a real reason behind it. Now, everybody's got different drivers, and some people might, when you really go down to it, you'll find out what it is. And there was an exercise they did at this event I was at, and they had this guy, he was like ex-criminal, really turned his life around, killing it now as an entrepreneur. But he'd made mistakes in his past, and he's learned from that, and he'd found God and things like that. So it was in a really positive place. Now, one of the things he did is he pulled a random person out to the stage, and he pulled a gun on her and pointed at her head and was like, you've got 5 seconds to live. Who do you want to call? What do you want to do? And this sort of stuff. And it bit flustered at the beginning, but really when the 5 seconds got down, she's like, I want to speak to my family, I want to speak to my kids. Nobody ever that's had a gun to their head and said, you've got 5 minutes to do whatever you want. What do you want to do? I want to drive my Lamborghini one last time. No one's ever going to say that. If they do, they're an idiot. But it just doesn't happen. There's always a deeper meaning to it. And I think if you can kind of tie your habits and your goals into those things that really, really drive you, then you'll be a lot more successful with accomplishing them. People talk to us about it, and even with me, and I'm happy to share it with everybody. And it's, for me, I love to invest in small businesses, struggling people that haven't got access to credit or funding or anything like that, but they've got a great idea and they've got the passion to complete it, to actually execute it. So I like to do that. Now, the reason that I run my business and the academy and everything else is to make money so that I can use that money to reinvest in those people. And that's what makes me happy. Making the money to buy a house and a car doesn't make me happy. It's nice to have, but the real happiness comes from seeing other people succeed, which I think is key. And everybody's got that inside them. This is why we do charity and things like that, to help other people, and it makes us feel good. So I think we're kind of there. I think we didn't have a question come in, so we're good. Brian, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Absolutely amazing. I think there's so much food for thought for people there, and so much they can take away. And on that note, while we say that, everybody who's watching, remember, we only ask one thing on this show, and that is to pay it forward. So if you know anybody that can benefit from anything we've talked about today, which is pretty much everyone, then please do tag a couple of people in the posts that you think can benefit. If you don't think they can, don't tag them. But if you do, tag them in the posts, or share the whole video for them to watch on the replay. We'd really appreciate it. Brian, for anybody that tuned in late, can we just have a recap of who you are, what you do, and how people can get in touch with you, more importantly?
Yeah, my name is Brian Davis. We're in Pennsylvania area. What we do is help people create impact, influence, and income. And we help you take the expertise inside of you and show you how to use Facebook challenges, Facebook marketing strategies, make income now with results that are working. So you want to get in touch with me, just connect with me on my Facebook profile, or we actually have a brand new group. It's on my profile called Win with Facebook Challenges, or facebookchallenges.com. It's actually a Facebook group we have right now. We just recently launched. So either way, I'd love to connect with you and see how we can serve.
Amazing. Brian, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Really exciting. I love jumping across the pond to speak to people. It's so good. And this is the bonus of social media. We can do this sort of stuff so easily now. And Brexit, positive. Well, hey. Love a bit of Brexit. I've got to drop it in there somewhere. So honestly, Brian, I really appreciate it. Thanks for giving us the time. And for everybody who's watching, thank you so much. 30 episodes down. Let's see if we can do another 30. This is absolutely excellent. Right, guys, have a fantastic evening, afternoon, morning. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.